From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, it's a change of guard in Kogi State as Usman Ododo takes oath of office as the 5th governor of the state, promises to build on the legacy of his predecessor, Yahaya Bello. Nigerian Army reinforced personnel to combat insecurity in Mangu local government area of Plateau State with the deployment of special force troops from other parts of the country. And Governor Babagana Zulum raises concern over expulsion of landmines in parts of Borno State, says is an attempt to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettlement of IDPs. United Kingdom halt aid to UN agency over allegation that staff of the organization helped Hamas in October 7th attack on Israel.
And on Business News tonight, Nigeria's local voice continues in winning ways as the all-share index adds 8% this week.
On sports news tonight, Angola defeat Namibia 3-0 to reach the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time since 2010. Kogi State now has a new chief executive. He is Mr. Usman Ododo, who was today sworn in as the 5th governor of the state in the state capital, Lokoja, where he was administered the oath of office by the chief judge of the state. In his inaugural speech, Mr. Ododo expressed appreciation to the outgone governor, Mr. Yahaya Bello, for laying the foundation for him to build on. Governor Ododo also used the occasion to announce his first appointments, including his security advisor, Mr. Jerry Omodara, and chief of staff, Mr. Ali Bello, who is understood to be the nephew of the immediate past governor. Top All Progressive Congress members, including the vice president and the party's national chairman, were present at the event.
Residents from the 21 local government areas of Kogi State gather at the Muhammadu Buhari Square in Lokoja, the state capital, for the swearing-in of the 5th governor of the state, Usman Ododo, and his deputy governor, Joel Salifu.
Governor Yahaya Doza Bello, CON.
Next to arrive the square is the outgoing governor, Yahaya Bello, who immediately takes the salute for the very last time as the state governor. The APC national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, and his team join other invitees in the arena, with the guest of honor, the Vice President Kashim Shettima, arriving shortly afterwards. The ceremony starts with the swearing-in of the Deputy Governor, Joel Salifu, by the State Chief Judge.
I, Joel Oyibo Salifu, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as the Deputy Governor of Kogi State, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability as Deputy Governor of Kogi State. So help me God.
With that out of the way, Mr. Usman Ododo steps forward to take the oath of office as the governor.
I, Ahmed Usman Ododo, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so help me God.
That paves the way for the official handover to the new chief executive by the outgoing governor, and the inspection of guard of the honor follows. Presenting his inaugural address, Governor Ododo says he will focus on things that will add value to the lives of Kogi residents.
The presence of His Excellency the Vice President alone here is a big message. It's a message that has sunk into my system. It's a message that sends signal to my mentality. It's a caution. And as such, I'm not going to take it for granted. Your Excellency, sir, I want to assure you that back in Abuja, you should be rest assured that you have a grandson here in Kogi State to deliver on the mandate to serve our people under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President and administration, and by God's grace, we will be here to make you proud.
On his part, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, appreciates the people of Kogi State for voting the APC.
We write this history with the dreams of our supporters, the promises of our progressives, the prayers of our well-wishers, and the hope of the entire nation. Therefore, we must express our profound gratitude to the resilient people of Kogi State for renewing their faith in our great party, the All Progressives Congress, against all odds.
Usman Ododo of the APC, with over 400,000 votes, defeated the closest rivals, Murtala Jaka of the SDP, who scored 259,000 votes, and Dino Malaye of the PDP, who polled 46,362 in the November 11, 2023 election.
The security in Plateau State, where the Nigerian Army says it has reinforced the personnel to combat the security challenges in Mangu local government area, with special force troops redeployed from other parts of the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tari Lagbaja, made this known during a courtesy call on Governor Caleb Mufwang at the Government House in Jos, the state capital.
The Army headquarters has taken steps to address some observed gaps that we notice in the deployment of the troops and other combat enablers here on the plateau. Even over the night, some special forces troops were deployed from some other parts of the country into plateau. So I'm here this morning to give a marching order to the troops and to tell them that what they are here in plateau for is a serious business. And before going to speak with the troops in the field, I feel it is expedient that I come around to pay you a courtesy call, Your Excellency. First, to thank you and to thank the good people of Plateau State for your support to our formations and units here on the plateau. I also want to sincerely thank you for the efforts that you have put in conjunction with other stakeholders to ensure that peace reigns on the plateau. And I also want to plead for the continued cooperation of the government and the good people of Plateau State.
Meanwhile, Governor Mufwang is pledging the commitment of his administration to enhance collaboration between the army and community leaders towards restoration of peace in troubled areas of the state.
I know that there are some few bad elements here and there that would want to sabotage your effort, the good work you're doing. And we are on the lookout. And when we find those kind of people, like you have said, your reporting channels are open. We'll continue to report such people to you because we believe you're doing a good job. And therefore, when we find elements within your own rank and file who are not in tandem with your philosophy, we will ensure that they are fished out so that your determination to restore security, protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria, as well as the further additional responsibility you have been given to be able to ensure the internal security of Nigeria, which is not your principal role really, that mandate is also effectively discharged. So be rest assured that we've always had a good communication line with the GOC, and whenever there are issues, we sit down to discuss them. We also have confidence in his leadership.
Staying with security issues, gunmen suspected to be a militia group in Wukari local government area of Taraba State have killed 2 persons suspected to be kidnapped victims in their hideout. The discovery followed sounds of gunshots near a disputed land along Wukari Road, which prompted the troops of 93 Battalion under 6th Brigade to respond quickly by heading to the scene. Upon arrival, the troops discovered 2 lifeless bodies and 1 person who sustained various degrees of gunshot wounds. The troops later combed the surrounding bushes near the scene and engaged the militia in a gun drill, which forced the group to flee. Thereafter, the troops recovered a cache of weapons, including 2 AK-47 rifles with 36 rounds of special ammunition, 1 double-barrel rifle, and other weapons. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the death of 1 kidnapped victim, 37-year-old Bilkisu Kazim, during a gun duel with the suspected gunmen who allegedly adopted the chairman of the Lagos chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a statement, the police explained that the victim died before getting to the hospital, while her body was immediately taken by her relatives, who declined any autopsy from the police. According to the police spokesperson, Omolola Odutola, the Lagos PDP chairman is still being held captive, but gave the assurance that operations are on the way to ensure his release. In Borno State, Governor Babagana Zulum says the recent explosion of landmines killing commuters, security agents and locals is part of renewed attempts to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettlement of IDPs to their ancestral homes. Professor Zulum, who was touring some of the communities in Dikwa, Mate and Ngala local government areas, says his government is working hard to find the plotters from within the government circles and locals for appropriate action.
Explosions along the Maiduguri, Dikwa, Mate, Ngala roads, resulting in the deaths of security personnel, civilian JTF members, humanitarian workers and farmers have been recurrent in the northern part of Borno of recent. Mate is 150 kilometers from Maiduguri, while Ngala is 153 kilometers from the capital. The 2 local government areas are economically strategic to Borno State and the federal government due to the trans-border commercial activities along the route. Destroyed by years of insurgency, roads leading to these economically viable local government areas have become easy traps for commuters and other users by Boko Haram terrorists who plant explosives on the roads.
Let me use this opportunity to commend you for the hard work.
Visiting and addressing the Army Brigade in New Mate after a landmine explosion involving Army personnel, the governor speaks to journalists on the spate of explosions rocking parts of the state.
We have to be very careful with a view to determining who is doing what. It's mind-boggling. What has been happening in recent times is mind-boggling. I think we have some group of people that don't want to see the end of this crisis. There's a lot of sabotage in what we are doing. Inshallah, we are trying to trace those that are committing these crimes within us. And therefore, I'm calling upon the Nigerian military, the Nigerian army, to work hard and identify the culprits wherever they are. I'm also calling upon our
In part two, after the break, Lagos State Task Force impounds over 250 motorcycles during a raid of unruly riders operating on the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Is a change of guard in Kogi State as Usman Ododo takes oath of office as the 5th governor of the state, promises to build on the legacy of his predecessor, Yahaya Bello. Nigerian Army reinforces personnel to combat insecurity in Mangu local government area of Plateau State with the deployment of special force troops from other parts of the country. Governor Babagana Zulum raises concern over explosion of landmines in parts of Borno State, says it's an attempt to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettling of IDPs. And United Kingdom halts aid to UN agency over allegation that staff of the organization helped a mass attack on October 7th on Israel. In Bauchi State, a mother of two, Mrs. Lubabatu Yusuf, is seeking justice for an alleged sexual assault by an immigration officer. She claims that the crime was committed in front of her children. However, her husband is also facing police charges for criminal allegations filed by the alleged offender. The police say the cases are being investigated. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, has this report.
This couple relocated to Bauchi from Kaduna in the hope to start life afresh after experiencing significant loss and accumulating heavy debts. They claim to have been swindled by a deputy superintendent of the Nigerian Immigration Service in Bauchi. According to the couple, the officer convinced them to move to Bauchi and promised to help them start life anew. However, they allege that he continues to exert control over their lives and manipulate them by making supernatural claims.
I have sold my clothes and shoes several times and gave him the money. According to him, he takes it to his spiritual mother.
The situation would later take a disturbing turn as the wife is accusing the officer of rape.
Whenever he comes to the house, he tells my husband to excuse us because the spiritual mother wants to speak to me alone. He makes me sniff on something and I become unconscious. I only become aware of what has happened to me after he leaves. On the 9th of December, he came to the house in the afternoon and raped me in front of my children. Their yelling attracted my husband's attention, who rushed in and met him on top of me.
Last December, the couple filed an official complaint to the police. However, that has not yielded any result. A human rights organization is not happy with the status of the petition before the Nigeria police in Bauchi.
Lubabatu Yusuf, a mother of 2 children, has been raped. She has been raped based on the information we received. This petition has been lying in the office of the Commissioner of Police, Bauchi Command, for almost 3 weeks now without investigation.
In a surprising twist, the husband was arrested by the police and detained for 11 days following a petition filed by the alleged offender for defamation and alleged kidnapping.
They came and the investigation is still ongoing. After the conclusion of the investigation, the outcome of the investigation will be made public. In the petition, while she said she alleged that her husband, Yusuf Samaila, was under detention. Yusuf Samaila was being charged to court. There is an allegation against him bordering on criminal defamation, criminal intimidation, and offense being bordering on aiding and abetting of offenses, to wit kidnapping.
While the police is still investigating the two cases, the human rights group is calling for a thorough investigation and justice for the victims. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
Over 250 motorcycles have been impounded by the Lagos State Task Force during its operation against unruly riders on the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. The riders, most of them whom were taken unawares, took to their heels on sighting the heavily armed task force operatives. Speaking at the end of the operation, the chairman of the agency, Mr. Shola Jajeloye, explains that the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway has been a takeoff point for Okada riders who violate the state traffic laws on the highway and Apapa local government area.
This is a one-of-a-kind operation embarked upon by the operatives of the Lagos State Environmental Task Force, the first in 2024. The Enforcement for Compliance exercise, first in the year, is launched around the nation's seaport at Apapa, Lagos, and the targets are motorcycle riders who operate illegally across the area. The arrival of these heavily armed operatives chased the riders away, leading to massive seizure of motorcycles.
This is a major express. By parking their Okada here or doing business here, they have already contravened the law. And this equally falls under Apapa local government, which is one of the restricted routes according to the law of the Lagos State government. So this makes it special because this area is volatile. You can see trailers parked left, right, center. So we need to devise an operational means to ensure that there is no chaos, there is no fatality, and there is no breakdown of law and order. So a lot of professionalism is involved in this particular operation.
On the other hand, Mr. Jajeloye adds that the environment has been under surveillance and the team is determined to end all illegal activities happening in the area.
We can see a lot of black markets, selling of black market fuel and this is going on here. We are using this avenue to pass this message across to them that we are going to visit them because we will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that criminality, violation of laws is brought to an end.
As we await further directives on this massive clampdown, the task team says it's more committed and has rejigged its operations to curb all forms of arbitrary road users acts across the state.
The suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, and her predecessor, Mrs. Sadia Umar Farouk, are still answering questions over the management of the ministry's funds at the Office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The anti-graft agency is questioning them over allegations that some monies in the ministry were said to be sent to private accounts in contravention of the public service procurement process. In this special report, our correspondent Benny Ark looks at the history of the ministry and the controversies that have trailed it.
Established in August 2019, after the formation of the Federal Executive Council's second term under former President Muhammadu Buhari, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is tasked with developing humanitarian policies and coordinating national and international interventions. Mrs. Sadiat Umar Farouk, the ministerial nominee from Zamfara State, became the inaugural minister, overseeing programs such as conditional cash transfer, Empower, national school feeding, and government enterprise empowerment. Controversy arose 2 years into the ministry's operations, with questions about fund management and program implementation. In 2021, amidst the COVID-19 lockdown, the ministry reported spending 500 million naira on the school feeding program, but there were discrepancies in the beneficiary figures. Budget allocations for the ministry range from 376.61 billion naira in 2020 to 135.89 billion naira in the current year. Currently under investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the ministry faces allegations of mismanagement. The suspension of National Social Investment Program Coordinator, Mrs. Alima Shehu, revealed an alleged transfer of 44 billion naira to private account. Another suspension involved Minister Dr. Betta Edu, accused of instructing the transfer of 585 million naira to a private account. The investigation also delves into breached procurement processes and questionable expenditures, including a memo approving funds for flight tickets for a trip to Kogi State with no known airports.
You have a situation where the minister, in this particular case, was the one that was actually even writing memos about how money should be distributed and to whom money should be distributed. That just tells you that the public service has come to a very definitive rot, that has to be taken care of. And I think the president, in trying to do a comprehensive review, is already on the right course.
This is just a scandal waiting to happen. Any minister you put there, because there's no due process, there's no diligence, the rule of law is not being followed, the Procurement Act is not being implemented. So anyone would have really fall for this, particularly someone that don't have strong integrity or does not have principle and does not understand public administration. So the president has really done well, and hopefully they would review this entire program. As I want to also add that as they review this, I think they need to take stock and even expand it beyond or expand it to inception during President Muhammadu Buhari. What are the lessons? What are the gaps?
In response to the malfeasance allegations, President Bola Tinubu suspended the National Social Investment Program for 6 weeks, allowing a special presidential panel led by the Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, to conduct a comprehensive review and audit of existing financial frameworks. The aim is to redesign the financial architecture of the programs, modifying procedures for better implementation based on the panel's report. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
To the Niger Delta, where the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Montgomery, has expressed hope that the ongoing cleanup in Ogoniland in River State will extend to other oil-polluted areas in the region. He stated this after a closed-door meeting with the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, coordinator at its head office in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has this report.
In what seems like an August visit, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Montgomery, is in the headquarters of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, to be briefed on the ongoing cleanup and restoration exercise in Ogoniland in River State. Speaking to journalists after the closed-door meeting, the project coordinator briefs on issues discussed.
I used the opportunity to reassure the diplomatic community that my eyes are on the ball, the eyes of my team are on the ball, and that we will deliver sustainable cleanup, remediation and restoration in Ogoniland.
On his part, Mr. Montgomery commends the progress recorded so far and urges the federal government to extend the same gesture to other parts of the region suffering from environmental pollution due to oil exploration.
So I've come here to listen and learn and understand the way in which this program is being implemented and the commitments made both to Ogoni people but also from other institutions, including the federal government and the oil companies. And my understanding is that there is a system of monitoring in place, and that's something which is the sovereign responsibility of the Nigerian government and also its relationships with communities. And we will be following and looking to understand how the project is progressing.
The British High Commissioner is not the only one visiting HYPREP, as the Minister of State for Environment, Mr. Isaac Salako, is also on the ground to see the extent of work done. He inspects the Center of Excellence and other remediation sites. Also top on his agenda is pushing the Plant 50 Trees campaign across states. He makes a stop at Birabi Memorial Grammar School, Bori in Kana, LGA, to plant some trees.
What we're doing today is symbolic. It is to send a message that if every Nigerian plant one tree each per annum, we will be planting in the region of over 200 million trees per annum. So all of us must take it as a responsibility.
The tree planting campaign aims to combat erosion, enhance biodiversity, provide food, sustain livelihoods, and contribute to public health. From Port Harcourt, the River State capital, Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's local burst continues in winning ways as the all-share index adds 8% this week. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. Staying in the Niger Delta, the interventionist agency, that's the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has challenged universities in the area to embark on research that will address the peculiar health and ecological challenges there. The NDDC Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Owuku, gave this challenge when the management of the Niger Delta University in Bayelsa State paid him a courtesy visit at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, River State. He said the Commission is ready to provide the necessary assistance required to carry out research as well as support peace efforts in the region.
The management of the Niger Delta University, Amasuma, Bayelsa State, is at the Niger Delta Development Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The delegation, led by the university's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alin Ake, is here to show appreciation to the Commission for the many interventions it has received and to seek further collaboration in the areas of ICT and infrastructural development, as well as agriculture and research.
Almost all the region of the Niger Delta, you find them in the university, either as students or as staff. So if there is any intervention that is placed in the university, almost all the region stand to gain. And so we feel that we have to be here to make you understand that whatever intervention that is done there is of great importance to the region and to Nigeria at large.
NDUs often tag the region's university, and the NDDC Managing Director is using the institution as a contact point to challenge other universities in the area to embark on research that will address the health, environmental and food production challenges of the Niger Delta.
The erosion challenges we face and flood challenges we face in the Niger Delta are not the same challenges in the northern part of Nigeria. So by now our universities should be able to tell us the best way of tackling the challenges of erosion in the Niger Delta. We can collaborate in these areas. In the event that universities want to embark on certain research that will also help in our infrastructural development, we are willing to collaborate because at the long run it's going to cost us less.
The NDDC boss also receives in audience the Commissioner of Police, River State Command. Both parties pledge continued effort and partnership to maintain peace in the region.
I want to express our appreciation for everything you have done for us. And at the same time to let you know that we are here today to let you know that we are going to cooperate with you. At the end of the day, we are going to find out how we can be of assistance if it ever needs.
With the NDDC expanding its intervention focus and delving into areas including collaboration with universities and research and provision of necessary backing to enhance the capacity of security agencies, it is hoped that if vigorously pursued, the Niger Delta will enjoy all-round development.
The Anambra State government has rounded off the 2024 Executive Council retreat focused on reviewing the administration's midterm performance with a view to intensifying strategic planning and implementation. During the program held at the International Convention Center in Awka, the state capital, the governor said that the year 2024 is for a change of gear, as every plan must be accomplished without any distraction.
It's a two-day retreat that brings together representatives from the executive arm of government, including the local government, ministries, heads of agencies, and heads of the liaison offices from Lagos and Abuja. They have converged here at the International Convention Center in Awka, the state capital, for strategy and brainstorming sessions germane to the progress of Anambra State.
Agile leadership is a concept that I'd like to introduce to you today. Use it. Use an iterative approach. Break your challenging projects into parts. Break the projects into parts. That is what Agile is about. And then keep improving through progress, making progress on what you're doing.
For the governor, the year 2024 is critical for the execution of plans and projects towards achieving tangible results.
We have been here for the last 2 full days, the entire government, just to have a review as to how far we've gone vis-a-vis the destination we set out for ourselves, our manifesto, and our work program for the people of Anambra. This year is a year for full execution. And this is the only non-election year actually we have over a 4-year period. When we got elected, we sworn in. That was the year of primaries and even campaigns 2022. And then 2023 last year, general elections without the litigations and distractions. This is the year of non-election year. So we are focusing 100% of our time on execution.
With a keen focus on implementation, Governor Soludo appears determined to fulfill his promise of delivering livable and prosperous homeland to the people of Anambra State.
The Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School Ijebu-Ode Old Girls Association is taking steps towards bringing back the old glory of their alma mater as they celebrate the 70th anniversary of the prestigious secondary school in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. At the ceremony held at the school auditorium, members of the association commended their institution for the moral and academic excellence, which has given them the needed direction to excel in life. 70 years and standing strong is the story of Our Lady of Apostles Secondary School in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. The prestigious secondary school welcomes old girls who are back at the school auditorium to celebrate their alma mater. The 70th anniversary also serves as a reunion for these women from Nigeria and the diaspora, and they discuss how to chart a new path for the development of the school. While highlighting the many challenges confronting the institution, the national president of the Old Girls Association says the 100 million naira fundraising is to be channeled towards improving standards of the physical structure and learning environment.
Today, as we celebrate 70th anniversary of this great school, all us have achieved a significant level of accomplishment in giving back to our alma mater. Over the years, this school lost its original glory in terms of structures and standard of living among the students. But we have put in place various innovation projects and changed the faces of the classroom. We are combating erosion, illuminating the school with lights, constructing drainage where necessary, upgrading the library system and the science lab.
Even though the female gathering isn't for advocacy, they discuss the need for more women engagement in national development.
The Beijing Declaration said that there should be parity in women in leadership by 2030. We need more women leaders in our country and in our world, and definitely not fewer women leaders. Please help us. We want all our men to help mentor us and support us
and recommend us into these leadership roles, which do bring a lot of value.
The Ijebu-Ode local government chairman and representative of the Bishop of Ijebu-Ode Catholic Diocese commends the school for being a leading light in moral and education development.
We are proud of the great work done to offer quality girl-child education for future leadership. According to the mind of our founders, Others has remained a family-oriented community wired to provide enabling environment that offers young girls opportunity to develop and excel in human and character formation.
I know the importance of all students in schools, especially today that government alone cannot do it. Today you are talking about roads, a 60 million naira road. God will make that easy for all of you. There are so many other things to do, but we need to come to the aid of this present generation of students. You come in, guidance, counseling, use people as role models for them to look up to.
The highlight of the celebration is the award of excellence to some of the old girls, including the First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, whose award was received by the National President of the school's Old Girls Association. To company news now, Dangote Cement PLC, a Nigerian publicly traded multinational cement manufacturer with headquarters in Lagos, has taken time out to celebrate its top customers, distributors, and business partners at the exquisite Dangote Cement Customers Award and Gala Night hosted at the Eco Hotel and Suites. In his address, the chairman and chief executive officer of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, says that the award ceremony is in recognition of the cement distributors' long-standing commitment, loyalty, and valuable contribution to the sale of Dangote Cement.
The brain box behind Africa's foremost business conglomerate, Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, is playing host to high-profile former and serving government officials, prominent business leaders, philanthropists, captain of industries, CEOs and MDs, board members from Dangote Cement PLC and other sister companies, and a host of top-level personalities, all for the annual Dangote Cement Customers and Distributors Ceremony. With business partners and distributors gathered from across Nigeria, it's an ambience of networking and good music. The chairman and CEO of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, takes the stage with commendation for distributors. The chairman also outlines the qualities, capacity, and achievements of the company.
We are celebrating an enduring partnership that has elevated us to become Africa's largest cement company, a partnership that has aptly captured by the theme of today's event, Forward Together. You are worthy partners, which reflects in your confidence and trust in our products. Our products are the best. You will never ever see any collapsed building that is being built by Dangote Cement.
And then comes the series of accolades for customers and distributors at the zonal, national, and regional levels. For the top three finalists, Otumba Kazim Odeyeyiwa of Kazab Heritage claims the crown, with winners going home with brand new Prado Jeeps.
We want to thank the Dangote Group of Companies for the award given to us. We feel extremely humbled, and we believe the award is an invitation to us to do more.
In her closing remarks, the Group Executive Director, Commercial Operations, Dangote Industries Limited, Fatima Aliko Dangote, shares her optimism about 2024.
I would like to take this moment to introduce a significant stride in our commitment to giving you an excellent service, the Dangote Distributor Management System.
The company says it remains the #1 manufacturer, importer, and distributor of cement and related products in Nigeria, with plants or import terminals in at least 9 other African countries.
Let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Laddie Williams has all those details.
Thanks, Melinda. In business news, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Mr. Abubakar Kyari, says stringent measures are being put in place for the forthcoming dry and wet season farming for rice, maize, and cassava to ensure transparent distribution of agro-inputs to genuine farmers across the country. The Minister was speaking at a separate meeting with Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State and Governor Mohammed Bago of Niger State. He explains that the distribution of the farm inputs will involve a collaboration of key players across federal, state, and local governments to boost food production.
The outcome of the review of the implementation of the dry season wheat production in the 15 participating states have provided a pathway for a more successful implementation of subsequent programs and initiatives. Against this backdrop, the expression of interest for the dry season production of rice, maize, and cassava that I sent to all the 36 states and FCT, which elicited a great deal of enthusiasm, Your Excellency certainly would have received my letter, and encapsulates a design structure that speaks to farmers' data integrity, inventory of available irrigable lands, as well as functional irrigation infrastructure, with the primary aim of determining the readiness of participating states. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is dedicated to implementing stringent measures in the forthcoming dry, wet season farming for rice, maize, and cassava to ensure transparent distribution of agro-inputs and targeting genuine farmers. Collaboration with states, local governments, traditional rulers, NGOs, relevant MDAs, and farmer associations will be crucial in achieving this goal.
And to the markets now, we see the domestic stock market sustained its bullish momentum for the 4th consecutive week as the bourse recorded gains on all 5 trading days, just like the previous week. At the end of the trading week, the market key indicator, as the all-share index, closed the week above the 100,000 points mark, with year-to-date return currently at 36.5%, maintaining the best-performing stock market position so far in 2024. The remarkable feat was largely driven by robust investor interest in diverse stocks across industrial, oil and gas, and consumer goods sectors. However, trading activity weakened compared to the previous week, with total traded volume and value decreasing compared to last week. Triple G and Company PLC led 35 gainers, closing at 2 Naira 83 kobo, up 32.24%, while Veritas Capital closed at 59 kobo, down 23.38%. The trio of transnational core PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC, Sterling Financial Holdings Company were the most actively traded stocks for the week. And the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy has shortlisted 10 startups provided with grants under its 4th Industrial Revolution Technology Application in Agriculture program. According to the Minister, the startups whose projects are elected will receive up to 10 million naira in funding to deepen the application of technologies in their work. The Supervising Minister for the Ministry unveiled the selected projects and said the initiative is in support of President Bola Tinubu's mandate to cultivate 500,000 hectares of land across Nigeria to boost food security. And Ghana's trade surplus narrowed in 2023 as revenue from cocoa and oil shipments declined. Data from the Bank of Ghana shows the West African nation's favorable trade balance shrank by 10% to $2.6 billion in 2023. We see total exports decreased by 5% to $16.6 billion, driven by 8.7% drop in cocoa income and 30% slide in revenue from oil shipments. The world's second biggest cocoa producer harvested about 650,000 tons last year, the least in 13 years, amid bad weather and the scarcity of farm inputs. Crude production was down about 9.5% at 35.4 million barrels in the first 9 months of 2023. And that's business news. Back to Melinda with the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks, Ladi. In the world of sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria currently lead Cameroon 2-0 in the round of 16 match at the Africa Cup of Nations. Ademola Lookman scored Nigeria's goal via an assist from African Player of the Year, Victor Osimhen. Gelson Dala scored twice as Angola shrugged off the early dismissal of their goalkeeper Neblu to defeat Namibia 3-0 and reach the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations. Neblu was shown a straight red in the 17th minute for handling the ball outside his box, but Dala put Angola in front with a tap-in 7 minutes before the break. And 2 minutes after a Namibian defender was sent off for a second bookable offence, Dala doubled Angola's lead by powerfully heading home Freddie's free kick. Mabululu's neat finish, following a swift counter-attack midway into the second half, wrapped up victory and sent them into the last eighth for the first time since 2010. Liverpool have announced that they will take time to decide on Jurgen Klopp's replacement after the 56-year-old German revealed that he will resign at the end of the current campaign with a year to spare on his contract. Klopp has spent 9 years on Marseille's side, winning the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and FIFA Club World Cup. The Liverpool Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Bill Hogan, said the recruitment will be done behind the scenes with no public updates to avoid distracting the team as they challenge for major honours this season.
The people that are here, our ownership, Mike Gordon in particular, will be a part of that process. And when we get to a place where we have further news on that, then we can discuss it at that point. But it's not going to be something that's going to be a running commentary. We prefer to, at this club, we prefer to operate when we're ready to talk about things, we will. And until that point, we won't. And we won't talk about other people, and we won't get into the name game. We are focused on the campaign ahead and the opportunity that we have and competing on four fronts and making the 23-24 campaign something that supporters can look back on with enjoyment.
Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag has admitted that they are not in a position to underestimate any opponent as his stumbling side look to keep their hopes of a silverware alive in Sunday's FA Cup clash at Newport. This has been a challenging season for the Dutchman, whose side languished 8th in the English Premier League. The FA Cup takes on extra significance as Manchester United's only potential route to a trophy in a disappointing campaign. Manchester United have a kind-looking fourth-round assignment at Newport, but Ten Hag said there is no chance of complacency seeping in against the middle-table League 2 outfit. And in tennis, Aryna Sabalenka has successfully defended her Australian Open title to claim a second Grand Slam trophy after defeating her Chinese opponent 6-3, 6-2 in a 76-minute final in Melbourne. Sabalenka becomes the first player to defend her major title since Victoria Azarenka in 2013. The result marks the 14th tour-level title of Sabalenka's career, 9th on outdoor hard court and first since last May. She becomes the 10th active multiple Grand Slam champion. And just to remind you that the game between Nigeria versus Cameroon is still ongoing at the AFCON, and the scores are currently 2-0. On the international scene, hundreds of residents demonstrated across major cities in Kenya to protest the rising cases of violence against women. People gathered, some carrying placards with the names of those who were killed. Campaigners want the authorities to expedite justice for all recent victims of sexual and gender-based violence, while many local rights groups are asking that the government declare femicide a national emergency and classify it as a specific crime distinct from murder. The protests follow a series of gruesome murders of women, including one victim whose dismembered remains were found stuffed in a plastic bag at a rental apartment. According to Amnesty International, over 500 cases of femicide were recorded in Kenya between 2016 and 2023. The United Kingdom has become the latest country to pause funding for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. This follows the agency's announcement that it sacked several of its staff over allegations that they were involved in the October 7th Hamas attacks. The UK government described the allegations made by Israel as appalling. The United States, Australia, Italy, Canada, and Finland have already suspended additional funding to the UN agency. Created in 1949, the UNRWA is the biggest UN agency operating in Gaza and provides healthcare, education, and other humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. And the main news again. There's been a change of guard in Kogi State today as Mr. Usman Ododo took the oath of office as the 5th governor of the state. In his inaugural address, the new chief executive promised to build on the legacy of his predecessor, Yahaya Bello. The Nigerian Army has reinforced personnel to combat insecurity in Mangu local government area of Plateau State with the deployment of special force troops from other parts of the country. Governor Babagana Zulum raised concern over explosion of landmines in parts of Borno State. He explained that it's an attempt to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettling of IDPs. And the United Kingdom has halted aid to the UN agency over allegation that staff of the organization helped Hamas in the October 7th attack on Israel. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On behalf of the team, good night.